But before we get to the main content of this episode, we wanted to address a topic that came up literally today about an organization that we previously had on the show back in March. We discussed what they do and who they are, what they're about. They're called Queer Appalachia. They have a really big Instagram following. John's going to tell you a little bit about a story that came out about them today, and then we will briefly discuss it.
So today, well, I was going to say today we got word, but everybody got word. The Washington Post published an article that they've been working on. The writer Emma Copley Eisenberg has been working on, I guess, for years, but really it seems like a lot of this information is coming from the last year, 2019, and into 2020. But to make it short and sweet, there are allegations on Queer Appalachia that essentially they were raising money and the money was not going exactly where they said it was going. And this is really hard to follow at some points, but Queer Appalachia, as we talked about before, they raise a lot of money. They're able to do it through their Instagram following. They really have a pretty solid message when it comes to what they say they do. And if you go back and you listen to the interview, you can hear Chuck and I talk about how we admired what they were doing because they were supposedly helping a lot of people. We don't know that to be true now. There's some doubt. We don't know whether or not the allegations are true or not. That's not for us to say, but the upcoming days will be very interesting, I guess to say. Like anybody who has either read this or will read this, maybe you're listening and you're about to go read this, we'll link it in the description below because we're trying to be as transparent as possible on mostly anything we talk about, but specifically this because we've had them on our show. And if you're, obviously if you're listening, you're a lover of Appalachia, and you may be a supporter of the queer movement, and really could have been a supporter of Queer Appalachia. And we're not telling you not to be, because we really don't have an opinion on this right now, because not enough facts are out. But I can tell you this, when you read this article and you look at some of the allegations, you get a little, I think it's human nature, you get a little pissed off. You're upset. It's going to really take the next couple days, maybe a couple weeks, maybe a couple months for Queer Appalachia to really answer the allegations in this Washington Post article. And Queer Appalachia has released a statement. The statement essentially reads that the writer of the Washington Post article is somehow, maybe I don't know if it's a relationship or what, is somehow linked to the ex-significant other of one of the people at Queer Appalachia. They say that there's no truth to the allegations and that they'll be proving it in the upcoming days or weeks with financial statements. So we're gonna keep you updated. That's our stance on this. We're gonna keep you updated. We're gonna let you know, and hopefully, we're gonna maybe hear a resolution soon.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that we were disappointed by their response to the article, and that we're just looking to see what additional information comes out in the coming days and weeks. This will not be the last time that we talk about this. We want to keep our listeners informed, especially since Queer Appalachia was a guest on our show. We enjoyed having them on, and we just want to make sure that whatever the truth may be, that it gets out and that we don't jump to too many conclusions or anything, but I do think it's fair to say that we were disappointed by their response to it.
Yeah, definitely. And if you go look at what Queer Appalachia is saying, you'll, especially if you read in the comments, you'll see that Queer Appalachia doesn't file as any type of, tax entity. They don't keep financial records. At least they don't keep public financial records. So it's going to really come down to them showing where said money went for each of these things. And it looks like a lot of the transactions went through Venmo and PayPal, and Chuck and I were talking before we came on, and to us, it seems pretty simple. Release what some of the transactions are between PayPal and Venmo, between the people who donated and where you're sending the money. If you're sending the money to a bank account, pull the statement that shows that you either wrote a check or you made a debit/credit purchase of sending money, maybe through PayPal or through whatever organization, whatever they're using. So I mean, to me, there are ways that they could have at least answered this a little bit quicker than they are,
and can answer it. There are ways that they can do it, and we're waiting to hear from them on that.
Yeah, and that, I think that's really the key here, is that their response really didn't have an answer. So we can only hope that maybe a little time allows them to show what happened.
So we'll stay up on top of this and keep everybody informed. We hope to be able to tell you all more soon.